Good evening. We begin tonight with a kidney transplant recipient who is speaking out because his insurance company refuses to pay for a brand name drug he's been on for years. It's because a generic version is available, but his doctor insists switching is too risky. CTV's Katie Griffin starts us off.
One of the 1 milligram.
Shad Zachary has taken this medication every day since his kidney transplant 3 years ago.
It's my wife's donated kidney, and I feel I owe it to her to make sure I keep it as healthy as I can for the longest time.
Advigraph, the brand name of the drug tacrolimus, is used to help prevent organ rejection. His insurance plan with the federal government had reimbursed the cost of hundreds of dollars until last month.
They said no, there is a generic medicine.
Canada Life told him reimbursement at the brand name cost can only be approved if an adverse reaction to the lowest cost alternative drug has occurred or is expected to occur. So Zachary sent in the required form with a doctor's note stating there's a risk of organ rejection with a generic version.
And we made sure to point out what the doctor had said about the risks of making the switch, and then when we heard that it was denied the second time, it was mind-boggling.
There are very few medications that fall into that narrow therapeutic index, but anti-rejection medications are one of them.
Zachary's doctor says even small changes can cause the appropriate dose to be ineffective or toxic.
There is essentially no benefit to the patient of doing that, and you are putting them at risk. It's not that generics are bad. It's just that in this case, for this medication, you want to keep as much as possible patients on the same brand of medication to avoid that variability.
In a statement, Canada Life says the government's Public Service Healthcare Plan Authority determines what is covered under its plan, and Canada Life administers claims in compliance with it. The Treasury Board says reimbursement is limited to 80% of the cost of the generic equivalent, and that it's Canada Life's medical experts who determine eligibility for reimbursement of the brand name drug.
I am blessed that we have two incomes, but there's a lot of things that other people are not going to be in a position to pay. And so I'm not sure why they would take a risk with somebody's life to save a few dollars.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
It is a frightening situation that no driver wants to experience. A tire flying off a vehicle on Highway 417, crossing the median and striking an oncoming car, causing significant injuries. This happened Friday night, and now police are reminding drivers about tire safety. Here's CTV's Josh Morano.
This photo shows the damage after OPP say a tire came off a vehicle on Highway 417 Friday and struck an oncoming car, resulting in significant injuries.
Of course, the impact from the tire, there was some glass that had gone into their eyes and, of course, on their face. And they were transported to hospital because of it.
I know what happens. I'm an old car guy, so I'm kind of familiar with wheels and tires.
For driver Barry Cox, who recently changed his own tires, the incident is a reminder to never rush through tire maintenance.
If there's people out there that are doing it, maybe they're doing it wrong, not retorquing their wheels. Roughly after 100 kilometers. I know that. I do mine. I do my kids.
Double torquing after driving 80 to 100 kilometers is one of the measures Ontario Provincial Police are reminding drivers when switching to summer or winter tires.
This ensures that they are as tight as possible on the vehicle in case anything had loosened up during the time that you were driving after they were initially installed. Obviously, you can see how dangerous it is if the tires do come off.
According to police, tires coming off vehicles doesn't happen often, but when it does, it occurs most this time of year and in the fall when people switch to their winters.
It's not a big deal to put on a tire. The big deal is making sure the tire is clean and on there properly.
At DiRienzo and Sakely Automotive, owner Nick DiRienzo says tire changes are booked through June, but notes people should always go back to get their tires checked.
It's always good to have them retorqued, and you don't have to go back to the same spot. Some garages will torque them even if you don't have your tires installed there.
Cox says warning signs like vibrations, rattling, or shaking should never be ignored, especially at highway speeds.
You can hear it. You could feel it. It might not just be the tightening or loosening of the tire. It could be something else mechanically that caused the failure.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Police in Brockville are appealing for video footage as the investigation into last week's triple murder continues. The bodies of 3 people were found in a home on Cartier Court Thursday morning. The victims were identified as a 49-year-old mother and her 2 daughters, aged 15 and 17. A 17-year-old boy was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, and police say the accused was in a relationship with one of the daughters. Investigators are now asking residents and business owners to provide any video footage between Wednesday, May 6th at 10 p.m. and Thursday, May 7th at 2 p.m. In the area of interest includes the Loyalist Park neighborhood and the area of Centennial Road and County Road 29. Police also released a description of a suspect to look for in the video, a person around 6 feet tall and 280 pounds wearing dark clothing. Well, turning now to a significant emergency response in the Byward Market tonight. A stretch of Rideau and William Streets closed for just under an hour. Several police vehicles called to the scene, both RCMP and Ottawa Police, fire crews and paramedics also attending after a person in distress was spotted on a nearby roof. The situation was safely resolved by 7:30. And Ottawa paramedics say one woman is in hospital with critical life-threatening injuries after she was hit by a vehicle in Barrhaven. According to police, the collision happened at the intersection of Fallowfield Road and Via Park Place shortly after 7:15 this evening. An investigation is now underway. Well, we had a bit of mixed weather today. It was kind of like yesterday as well. Nice at times, but some rain at times too. First look at the weather forecast. Jackie.
Well, we have a frost advisory in effect, and it actually takes up much of the southern part of Toronto and along Lake Ontario. For here in eastern Ontario, Kingston, Brockville, Smiths Falls, even here in Ottawa and Cornwall, temperatures are going to be hovering around the freezing mark. And taking a look at conditions, yes, it's going to be mainly sunny skies for most of our Tuesday. We are likely going to warm up to about 13 degrees, but keep in mind we are watching a weather system that will be likely moving through Wednesday. More on that in just a bit. But temperature-wise, our daytime high anticipated 13 degrees. Again, lots of sunshine in store for our Tuesday. We'll get a closer look at this weather system moving through by the middle of the week.
Well, safety organizations are urging people to be careful around the water, especially at this time of year after a 2-year-old child fell into the Ottawa River and drowned Friday night. Now, Life Saving Society Ontario is sharing key information for this time of year to ensure this doesn't happen to anyone else. The organization says many drownings involving children under the age of 5 happen when there is a lapse in attention, such as checking a phone or having a conversation. And this can happen around any body of water, whether it be a river, lake, pool, or even a bathtub. The organization says 68% of drownings happen between May and October, and many of these occur when people are not even intending on going into the water.
Just make sure you're taking precautions, especially near rivers and places where there are embankments. It is possible for that soil to be very loose and for it to just give way under your feet. So we want people to be very cautious. Make sure if you are exploring and you're out doing that, you're doing so safely. It's always a great idea when you're going near a waterway specifically to explore to wear a life jacket.
Another key piece to go along with wearing a life jacket is to always have children within arm's reach when around water. The Life Saving Society is also reminding people who are eager to get back outside as the weather warms that open water can still be very cold and fast moving, and that can restrict you from swimming to the best of your abilities compared to later in the season when the water may be calmer and warmer. A 17-year-old is facing charges after getting stopped for stunt driving for the 3rd time in 5 months. Officers pulled over the driver on Leitrim Road yesterday going 136 kilometers an hour. The speed limit in that area is 70. Police say this is the 3rd time the driver was charged with stunt driving since December. The vehicle was impounded. Well, pharmacists in the province will soon be able to administer more vaccines as well as treat more common ailments. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has more on the expansion of their role.
It's a new peek into Ontario's hospitals, showing growing wait times and deepening deficits, or as the report's author describes it,
a system under immense strain.
The data compiled by the left-leaning Center for Policy Alternatives finds in 2020-21, 90% of patients spent 29 hours in emergency departments waiting to be admitted. By 2024-25, that was up to 44 hours, a 52% increase.
The longer patients languish in the emergency department waiting to be admitted, the risks of deteriorating health status and poorer outcomes increase.
A spokesperson for the Minister of Health calls the report misguided, with Sylvia Jones touting spending increases on hospitals.
We all have a responsibility, hospital leadership and government, to make sure that that money is being spent appropriately.
No one is operating a more efficient system, but as the aging, growing population hits it, it just can't cope.
You hear that same pushback from opposition leaders.
Hallways, broom closets. This is where patients are being treated.
60% of hospitals taking out a line of credit just to stay open.
Minister Jones insists government action has made a difference.
Whether it is scope of practice changes, whether it is primary care access, then individuals make decisions not to go to an emergency department because they have those other opportunities.
Everybody see me?
Earlier in the day, Jones expanded the list of ailments pharmacists can assess and treat.
Calluses and corns, dandruff, dry eye, head lice, jock itch, mild headache, nasal congestion, ringworm, and warts.
Starting in July, pharmacists will also be able to administer 6 more vaccines, including tetanus, pertussis, and RSV. There could be more responsibilities coming for other health professionals, like optometrists and dental hygienists.
What I think we saw today really is just tinkering around the edges. I have a difficult time imagining that it's going to make a significant difference.
The Ontario Nurses Association is launching a constitutional challenge of the law that prevents them from taking job action up to striking, something nurses in other provinces can do. The Minister of Health says she supports the work that nurses do, but she's going to let the legal process play out. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Well, after a thrilling double overtime win on home ice last night, the Ottawa Charge, they have to wait a little longer than expected to find out who they will play in the Walter Cup final. That's because tonight's Game 5 in the series between Montreal Victoire and the Minnesota Frost, the game was postponed. The league says the move was made due to player safety concerns related to illness. The PWHL did not provide information on the specific illness, but says the symptoms are not consistent with hantavirus. Game 5 between Minnesota and Montreal will now be played tomorrow night. The Charge are set to host Game 3 next Monday, May 18th at Canadian Tire Centre, and Game 4, if necessary, on Wednesday, May 20th.
Food, electricity, everything, gas, for instance, right now, like people are, they are suffering.
Coming up, new details on how the rising cost of food and gas is directly impacting Canadians' spending choices. There's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is currently 6 degrees, and many Canadians are feeling the rising everyday costs that are putting direct pressure on their finances. That's according to a recent survey painting a clear picture of a country under financial strain. CTV's Leah LaRocque reports.
Dennis Granier can't believe how expensive life is these days.
You try to find deals wherever you can because it's crazy out there.
The price of food and gas, the biggest strain recently on people's pocketbooks.
Food, electricity, everything, gas, for instance, right now, like people are, they are suffering.
A recent survey by Harris and Partners, a bankruptcy insolvency trustee, backing what many are feeling. More than 90% of Canadians changed how they managed their money in the past 6 months due to shifting economic conditions.
We have two kids at home, and so even double income, we're just surviving.
Nearly half of respondents say they're cutting back on overall spending, and 1 in 5 delaying major purchases they had planned just to get by.
I'd like to go for a weekend fishing trip and stuff like that, but that's put on the back burner, maybe not even happen this year.
The survey found that not only are many consumers delaying big purchases, but they are also struggling to cover everyday essentials and are dipping into savings and relying more on credit.
They're delaying things like
having a barbecue with their family because, they can only afford rice or soup or whatever it is. Delaying maybe going to a doctor's appointment that's a little out of the way because they can't afford the gas.
Harris and partners saying the summer is also when people can typically start saving. But this year is different.
The result that we got that was like the most shocking to me is that 91% of the people said that the financial change to them was out of their control.
Everyone looking for ways to save, including the Breslavs, who did the math and the planning ahead, hoping to stay ahead.
We're from Shawville, so we come to the city once a week and do Costco.
Leela Rock, CTV News.
Well, as I mentioned moments ago, it is 6 degrees here in Ottawa, but it's getting even cooler as the night progresses. We'll take another look at the weather forecast. Jackie.
Well, we are anticipating a chilly evening where temperatures are going to be hovering around the freezing mark. Overnight here in Ottawa, about 0, a few clouds. When we look towards the valley, it's going to be closer to about -1, and around the Seaway, 1 degree for the overnight. Tomorrow's daytime highs, yes, mainly sunny. 14 degrees is the anticipated daytime high. Now, tonight's lows across eastern Ontario, as we mentioned, hovering around the freezing mark. Slightly cooler in Bancroft and Kittigan-Zibi, about -3. The good news is it's going to be mainly clear skies. A little bit of cloud cover, but for the most part, there is no signs of precipitation moving through like we saw for much of this afternoon. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's highs, 14 degrees is what we are anticipating. It could get a touch warmer with that sunshine moving through, but we did mention the precipitation moving through. This is as early as Wednesday overnight, especially for parts of Kingston, getting a lot of rainfall moving through. There is a chance that we could see a risk of thunderstorm as well. Here in Ottawa, we'll likely come closer to around 1 p.m. where we will see the heavier rainfall. Early radar shows that we are anticipating between 15 and 20 millimeters of rain moving through when all is said and done. So we are keeping a very close eye on this. Now, as we look towards our temperatures for the 7-day forecast, this time of year, we should be around 18 degrees. The overnight likely around 8, but again, we are below that, very well below that for at least Tuesday and Wednesday. It's not until Friday and into the weekend that we will likely see a steady stretch of 20-degree weather.
Well, tomorrow is the deadline to fill out your census form. Statistics Canada says reminder letters will be sent out to households that don't complete the form on time. They may also follow up with phone calls and in-person visits. The census is completed every 5 years, and the information is used in population-based decisions on how public resources are allocated. Not completing the form could eventually result in a $500 fine.
Hopefully, once they're in the area and in the business, they'll come back and maybe experience what Centertown has to offer, because there's a lot. We have a lot of businesses.
Still ahead, a new initiative to try and revitalize Centertown, and it involves free food. Gatineau residents will no longer have to come to Ottawa to shop at IKEA. An IKEA plan and order point is now open at Les Promenades Gatineau. It's not a full store, but there is a selection of IKEA products at the location, and shoppers can also pick up online orders and access design services. Well, there is an effort underway by Centertown merchants to bring more business into the city's core. The incentive starts with a free sandwich, but the plan this summer is about rebuilding reputation. Here's CTV's Camille Wilson.
Can I get any vegetables? For Percival Pink, this is home.
Centertown is definitely a very vibrant community, especially with the queer history that it does have.
Pink lives and works in Centertown and knows it well.
It definitely does have its rougher spots, as you'd see with in any major city, for sure.
Bank Street in particular has seen several businesses close with vacant storefronts. Now the Centertown Business Improvement Area is launching a monthly food promotional campaign focused on local shops.
We get overrun by all of the chain restaurants, which people go to on a daily basis, but we have so many mom and pop shops, so many shops that we want people to be more aware of, and a lot to offer in Centertown.
Kicking it off, Sabito Sandwich for their meatball sub.
I thought it was a really good opportunity to show the community some of the food we offer, bring some people into the area as well.
To be able to really support local businesses, have a bit of flavor. This is the Italian flavor that I crave every once in a while.
With the keywords Bites of Centertown upon arrival, a free sub is yours. And this promotion to help encourage people to come back to the area to help boost Centertown's image. Sungi Kulamala lives in Centertown and also owns Sungi Fitness in the area.
It's a great neighborhood to go through, to walk in with my wife and my daughter, and also to run my business.
Last fall, Centertown held a volunteer cleanup, this all in addition to this initiative.
Centertown's amazing. It's a very vibrant, we're trying to be the most, we are, I would say, the most arts-focused district in the area. We're trying to bring people down here and be a more lively area.
And for Pink, no matter what's said, Centertown will always have a place in heart.
I'm really happy to call Ottawa my home, and I love the area. It's really great.
In the upcoming months, more free food handing out. Camille Wilson, CTV News.
There were some bugs and connection problems, as expected, in a project this big, but nothing major so far.
Still ahead, going digital in Quebec. That province is switching from paper health records to online files. But how's the rollout going? We'll have more on that after the break. The Ottawa Catholic School Board is looking to hire dozens of new teachers as the English Public Board prepares for job cuts. The OCSB says it will need an additional 66 teachers and staff as it anticipates enrollment numbers to increase by more than 1,400 students next school year. It is a much different situation at the Ottawa Carleton District School Board, which is looking to cut 150 positions next school year due to declining enrollment and a deficit budget. Health records in Quebec started going digital over the weekend. The province says the rollout is going well, but so far there have been hundreds of requests for help. CTV's Sweeta Rassi has the details.
Nearly 11,000 healthcare workers in Montreal North and the Mauricie logged into Quebec's new digital health record over the weekend. And while there were some technical hiccups along the way, Quebec Health Minister Sonia Bélanger says everything is going according to plan.
There were some bugs and connection problems, as expected, in a project this big, but nothing major so far.
The platform known as the DSN replaces paper files, faxes, and forms, putting all of a patient's health information online. In the 2 days since its launch, more than 2,000 support tickets have been filed. The biggest headache so far has been the speed. Officials say they've increased the platform's bandwidth from 2 gigabytes to 10. One healthcare worker union has already expressed concerns about the rollout. This morning in the Mauricie region, there was a major outage as the network was down for 2 hours. In a statement to CTV News, the Regional Health Authority writes, temporary connection issues were observed this morning in various departments of the institution. To ensure service continuity, some departments have temporarily switched to paper-based procedures. Santé Quebec says it's looking into the cause. It also says support staff are on standby as it braces for more tickets in the days ahead. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
Coming up, a celebration both on and off the ice at the CTC with the Charge marking Mother's Day ahead of yesterday's game. One more live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is 6 degrees out there right now, below seasonal and getting even cooler. It's been quite cold here in the nation's capital and as I mentioned, getting cooler, but we do have a bit of a warm-up in store. Jackie.
You'll definitely need your jacket tomorrow morning. We're kicking things off at 2 degrees, but lots of sunshine moving through. We are warming up to about 14 degrees. Things are going to cool down slightly Wednesday when the rainfall comes, and we are expecting between 15 to 20 millimeters of rain moving through. Thursday, 14 degrees, 20 degrees by the time Friday rolls around. And yes, there is a chance that we could see some showers for both Friday and Saturday, but they should clear up for our long weekend, where by Monday, temperatures are expected to hit 24 degrees.
Finally for us tonight, it was a pretty cool way for many Charge fans to spend Mother's Day, but maybe even more surreal if you're the mother of a professional women's hockey player and you're spending your Mother's Day cheering on your kid. The moms were out on Sunday and were being celebrated ahead of the game. Lots of pictures, and defender Brooke Hobson took her mom by the hand on the red carpet, as we saw there moments ago. As they went into the CTC together, the party started early, but the real gift was the double overtime victory on the ice. that sends this team to the PWHL Walter Cup final. And we're still waiting to know exactly who they will play in that final. It'll be either the Montreal Victoire or the Minnesota Frost. We'll find out tomorrow when that game gets underway at 7 p.m. A lot of people here in Ottawa will be watching. Go Charge, go. Good night, everybody.